County Commissioners, January 2nd, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. to order. Let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the minutes will note that Commissioner Dwinger is attending electronically, and therefore, while he can vote and he can count toward a quorum, all votes will have to be done by roll call. First item of business will be the election of officers for the 2025 calendar year. Any nominations?
I would like to nominate Jeff Plaster for president.
Second.
Been nominated and second. Are there any other nominations? Chair will entertain a motion to close the nomination.
I'll move to close nominations.
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Roberts?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Plaster?
Yes.
Mr. Dwinger?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Chair will entertain a motion for Jeff Plaster to be president of the Board of Commissioners for 2025 by acclamation. Is there a second?
Another motion?
Second. Yeah.
All in favor? Aaron?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
And now the gavel is passed.
All right, let me use it. Yes, it still works. Thank you, Ron. All right, next item on the agenda is to elect a vice president.
I would like to nominate Brad Dwinger as vice president.
I would like to second the nomination of Brad Dwinger as vice president. Are there any further nominations?
I would move to close nominations.
I'll second the motion to close nominations. There's a motion and a second to close nominations. All in favor of the, sorry. We will take a roll call vote. That always gets me. Aaron?
Aye.
Jeff? Aye. Brad?
Aye.
Motion carries. On the nomination to elect Brad Dwinger as Vice President of the Wayne County Commissioners for 2025. Aaron?
Aye.
Brad?
Aye.
Jeff votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Brad, you are the Vice President for 2025. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. How are things in Tennessee, by the way?
Good.
Good.
Sunny and a little cold this morning, but it's good.
Good. Let's go to Attorney Ron Cross, next on the agenda.
The only thing I have for you today at this point is we have prepared the draft of our proposed contract for legal services for 2025 with the firm of Boston, Beaver, Forest, Cross, and Sickman. It is, the difference in this year versus last year is the contract amount has been reduced by $9,800. The scope of services has been modified to eliminate direct services provided by the firm pursuant to this contract to the Wayne County Health Department and local board. So it's for, again, 1 year, can be terminated by either party upon 60 days notice. This is a $90,000 total contract payable in monthly installments of $7,500 in arrears, with the first such payment due on or before February 1, 2025, and all later monthly payments due on or before the first day of the 11th successive months.
All right. I think everyone had a chance to...
change other than I did clarify that it's payable in arrears.
Okay. And you did correct the typo?
Oh, yeah, I think I did. Page 3, sub-paragraph.
Yes.
Instead of sub-paragraph. Yeah. I was on right.
Okay. Good deal. So I think we're ready to approve this contract. If there are any questions before we do that?
Yeah, I read over it. Everything looks good, and I'll make a motion that we approve the contract with Ron Cross for our attorney for the next year for 2025. For Boston, I'm sorry, whatever.
It's Ron Cross and the firm of Boston, Beaver, Forest, Cross, and Sickman.
And
Yes.
So motion to approve by Brad
I'll second that.
and a second. Any further discussion?
No.
Only question I would have then is, there'll be two separate contracts, right? One for the health board, which will ultimately come to us for final approval, so in the next few weeks we'll have that. Okay. If there's no further discussion, we have a motion and a second on the floor. We're going to do a roll call vote. Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Dwinger?
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye. Motion carries unanimously.
Need 3 executed copies, that way Vern will have one, I'll leave one with Bobby, and I'll give the auditor one. Make sure that the January payment is as per the current schedule, and then we'll pick up the change in February.
Okay.
Under the State Board of Accounts guidance, all personal service contracts have to be paid in arrears.
Okay. So we'll keep these in the office for you to sign, Brad, so we'll get that taken care of today.
And that's
Anything
really
else?
all I had at this
Okay.
point.
I will go ahead and say in reference to old business, that Aaron and I visited Help the Animals today, took them the contracts for 2025. They have no problem. We've had the discussions prior, but with the holidays, we didn't get those delivered until today. They'll have those signed and back to us in the next week or so. And in the meantime, I told them to go ahead and continue the normal process. I have no problem with that. We met one of Aaron's alter egos at the help shelter, and that was fascinating for me. So we're moving forward. They're very happy with the way things have been going, the contract itself, and the change. If you recall, over last year's contract is that we are adding to the $200 per dog, $100 for spay or neutering of an animal that we take them that is in line to be adopted and needs to be spayed or neutered. So they're very happy with that.
Good to hear.
Anything else of a legal nature?
Just an update. I think, Jeff, you saw I sent Attorney Jim Williams a general advisement of the discussions that have been occurring regarding WUR, the withdrawal of Wayne County from WUR, affecting the dissolution of it as a joint solid waste management district. And I will be working on getting together both the summary of the assets and liabilities from information, as well as a plan for the dissolution. One thing I'm not sure that I clearly stated, we can continue the tipping fee. We require that we provide services in Wayne County.
Right.
The assets that we get upon dissolution of WR are restricted to the uses, that type of use, but not necessarily to the way they would be used by WR. So, to the extent they're in excess of liabilities.
Okay, so the same type of uses, not necessarily the exact same things that we did.
And of course,
as
as part of the obligations we know exist are percentage contributions to employment contracts for soil and water folks.
Right.
And those would be liabilities that the county would assume as it relates to WR's extent of liability for those.
Correct.
And again, it's the holidays. Jim hasn't even acknowledged my email yet, but I talked to him briefly about it a little bit, probably 6 months ago, well, a year ago when we were talking about it. And so if there are any issues that come up, I'll make sure that we address them. But the next thing you'll see will be the plan, the draft of the plan, very skeletal, and then the summary of the assets and liabilities that Gary and some other help. The only other thing you might want to think about, and I don't think you have to act on it today, would be whether, since we know 2025 is going to be what I would call a transitional year, do you want to create some kind of committee to periodically meet to deal with issues that might come up? WR's only official action yet to be done is conduct a public hearing upon its dissolution. And that requires that we first identify the assets, how they're going to be divided, liabilities, how they're gonna be allocated, and so that they can have a public hearing on that issue.
And that would be a joint public
Could
hearing
be, doesn't have to be.
with both sets of county commissioners, Union and Wayne? Or
It could be.
Or it could be 3 separate meetings?
Could be 3 separate meetings. It could be a joint commission meeting of the executives with a separate committee by the WR board, or a separate meeting with the WR board.
Okay.
Public hearing.
We did talk to some extent with council this morning that we're moving forward with that dissolution and what's their pleasure. And one of the questions that I don't quite yet know the answer to is there a way, since we've already voted to leave the organization, to continue to pay bills out of WUR funds?
Yes, absolutely. Part of the way you will allocate, I would think, the assets would be, you would be dealing with net assets, so you would expect there to be a balance to pay incoming expenses that would have accrued and towards they're liable.
Okay.
I don't know what that consists of. I don't know enough about the operations, but
Okay. Well, and essentially we adopted a budget that is, just off the top of my head, it's about $145,000. So the largest part of those expenses are the staff, which is what is also reimbursed by each of the partners.
and that would be a liability we'd be assuming at the county level as it relates to WR's share of that. Is that
But
correct?
it would be a liability and an asset, because if we're continuing to do the same things this year in a transition year, wouldn't they still owe us the share of those funds? Or
Yeah, I mean, our only liability is to the extent that they're actually liable, our being WRs and our being county by successor and interest.
so they would still pay into WUR as long as we continue to provide those.
Or provide a mechanism for payment, because I believe we've got those positions in our salary ordinance for 2025 at the county level.
Correct.
So
Okay.
probably, I
My
don't know.
question is,
Go ahead,
I'm
Brad.
so sorry, my question is, since we're talking about, what about tipping fees as revenue?
Well-
Do we still receive those?
Well, that's what, I know what the statute says, and I know we talked to Pat Smoker on at least one occasion here, and I think separate email exchanges and phone conversations perhaps. I'd like to know what he thinks he needs from us, but basically I would propose that when we have our first meeting, when will you be back? Next week or week after?
Next week.
I propose a resolution that would do a couple of things. It would recite what has taken place to date, passage of the resolutions A and B, delivery of those, starting the process to identify assets and liabilities and work on a plan to allocate those. And then also stating within that resolution the intent of Wayne County not to either form a separate standalone county waste management district, not to join an existing or to be created existing joint district or multi-county district, but rather to not have any county-identified waste management district, and rather to contract for the services that we would be obligated to provide by continuing the tipping fee that is in place. And again, I think that, I thought at least, I know I was shocked, I was surprised that it took very little on our part, at least it seemed to get that increased when we did a few years ago from 50 cents to $1. It just happened when they built their sanitary district, built their budget. So I'll have to talk to Pat and see what he and the city attorney think they would like to have. But I would think that resolution citing the statute and what have you, requesting to be tipping fee be continued and indicating our intent to provide those same levels of service, types of service, but probably through a vehicle involving either a one or more contractual relationships, certainly looking toward Richmond Sanitary Districts being a primary contracting party with us perhaps, but I mean, those are yet to be determined,
Okay. Well, we will continue to work on this. The council appointed some folks to the recycling committee, as we'll set that up in the not too distant future. So we'll keep moving forward with it. Thank you for that. Any other questions, Brad? Oh, you're muted again. Either that or there's no words coming out of your mouth.
I'm not muted on my end.
Now you're not. Did you unmute him or mute him, Steve?
Don't think I did, but maybe I did.
Yeah, it's not on my end. So, no, I have no further questions. That answered what I had for
Okay,
WR.
great. Anything else for Ron?
No, I'm good.
If not, let's move on to Mr. Higginbotham.
Just a couple things, just after the holidays, you heard the presentation on the ongoing projects. I have heard back from SAS on the Prox card system. They have assigned that to their logistics, and so I'll be hearing something from them as to when that project will get underway. Talked to Craig this morning on the IT cabling project. They're still on schedule. They are about 2 weeks out to finish the courthouse. Then they'll be over here the next for the next building. And then, what's your thoughts? You want to regroup on the elevator right away?
I don't see any reason to delay it. I think that you probably need to meet again with the architect and say, okay, what are the issues that we need to investigate as we try to move this forward? I think the main thing at this point is the removing the flue, and what's that going to take, and how do we need to bid that? Who are what kind of companies would be interested in a project like that? Because I think that seems to me to be a very specialized project, and just any construction company wouldn't necessarily have the skills to do that. They probably would have to subcontract it. And why don't we see how we go about getting that out of there first as the first step.
I'll get back to LWC and tell them that we want to meet with them.
And if there were any issues on the moving of the memorial on the second floor, we need to be aware of those and see if there are any additional options. I'd really hate to go back to the option of a side entrance to that elevator on the second floor, but if that's the only way to get it done, then we need to explore that.
Right.
At this point, unfortunately, I don't think we have a clear picture of what the total cost of that project is. I think we absolutely want to move forward.
Okay. And then the X-ray and screening equipment, they've given us about a 45th or 60-day window. I'm anticipating just from conversation, it might be a little sooner than that, but we'll have a meeting with the contractor on the front plaza. They've got to be, that project's going to have to set up on the south side, and they can do demo over here. So I think the timing of the demo of the front of the courthouse, I think this will work. Obviously, we want it to work to get the equipment in through that front door before they start shutting that off.
Okay.
Any other questions on the projects?
Can you talk a little more about the ceiling at Kuhlman? Is that going to be done soon?
Yeah, they've actually got about a 3-week window before we have any rentals in there.
Oh, okay.
And talked to Brad this morning, and he felt like they would be done probably next week, early the following week. So I think they've got all the lights in the main hall. They were installing lights in the kitchen. They've got the lights in the front foyer area. They've got all the ceiling tile, or most of the ceiling tiles in the hall. So they're down to just putting tiles in.
So I remember that there was a leak in the main roof, and did we get that addressed?
Yeah, it wasn't the roof work. It was a flashing on the side that was not a part of and we've sealed it, but we're going to replace the flashing, but for temporary we sealed it, so.
Okay.
And then, just for information, I have two building grounds employees on medical leave. One of them is on FMLA, and one of them is on temporary FMLA. So we're a little bit shorthanded, and will be with the snow coming. But we'll get through that. And then I did have Joe is retiring from from building grounds. So I have a request to hire to replace her, and she has agreed to stay on until we get a new person trained. So I request to hire to replace Joe White in building grounds.
And so are you going to request some training funds from council
Probably.
to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably do that at workshop.
Okay. And you've not talked to them about this yet?
I just got it this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
I know.
Okay, good deal.
I need a request to hire signed.
Yes, I know.
I'll make a motion that you sign this.
You
Nice try.
can do that until you're blue in the face.
Okay.
I keep telling you, Steve,
You
you're
know,
not a
local
commissioner.
motion.
I know, it
He
just
really
goes to
does
my
think
head.
of himself as the fourth commissioner. What you don't realize is the fourth commissioner doesn't
Has
have
no
a
vote. Okay. Well, I'll just lay this next to Aaron just in case you want.
So Aaron wants to take a look at that.
Okay.
Does he want to
would
make
like
a
to.
motion to approve that?
I would like to make a motion to approve this request to hire.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the request to hire. I always want to call you Aaron Rodgers because you're a superstar. You know, so
I'll take
we're not going to
Rodgers.
do that. Mr. Roberts is a great movie.
It is.
Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Mr. Dwinger. I don't know any movies that have Dwingers in them, so sorry.
That's fine.
I'm in a really good mood today. Please bear with me. So how do you vote on this? Did you vote?
I said aye.
Aye, thank you. I was talking over your vote. Mr. Plaster votes aye. That means there's 3 in favor and 0 opposed. So the motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Higginbotham?
Thank you.
Live long and prosper.
Now you need to sign it.
Not right now, not right now. But make sure you don't lose track of that.
I'm
because
watching
you're
it
gonna
very
need
closely.
that. Okay. What else do you have?
Nothing.
Nothing at all? Wow. We talked about help. We need to approve the Cambridge City Edit Agreement, which is called, what's the name of it?
Unit contribution agreement.
The Unit Contribution Agreement. Cambridge City has agreed to sign a 4-year agreement to participate in consolidated edit with 50% of their edit funds going to consolidated edit. Do I have a motion to approve the Cambridge City Unit Contribution Agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve that. I'll second.
That was too slow. You had 2
How about
more
I
words.
second?
You can second. We have a motion and a second. Mr. Dwinger, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
You have to
Mr.
wait for me to
Roberts.
say your name. Mr. Roberts.
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye. Motion carries. Okay, let's go to Bobby and see if she has anything else for us.
I gave you a letter from Laura. She's wanting to approve
There's a stack here. Hang
Mr.
on just a
Becker.
second. Steve Becker, they're requesting an appointment for him to serve as an alternate member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for 4 years, starting January 1st, 2025. Questions, comments, notions? Ron?
Move for approval.
Preliminary to that is the fact that he's resigning his regular position effective at the date of 2024
Okay.
on the board.
Okay.
He's agreed to step forward and be an alternate because we've been looking for an alternate to give us, if you will, a 6th board member, but there's still a vacancy that's to be
It has to be filled.
filled, and I believe his was the position was filled by a member of the plan commission, wasn't Steve? I think one of the members has to be also a member of the plan commission.
So on these alternates, we have each group approve this so that he can fill in for any of them. In other words, the commissioner replacement, the council.
Yeah.
And so the plan commission needs to approve this.
I'm talking about the vacancy though that
Yeah, the plan,
he's
yeah,
creating.
yeah, that's right. But
This
this
would
one,
require somebody who is on.
Is also on the plan commission.
right, this one we should have had approved by council at the same time this morning.
Pick it up a workshop, because I don't think our next meeting is the 9th, and it's probably going to be one, at least that has one very contentious issue, but
Well, nobody's going to want to join before that meeting then.
probably.
Okay.
But by having this person approved by each group, the planning commission, council, and commissioners, he can fill in for any person who's absent.
And I do not see a document for us to sign, so just the approval and being in the minutes is good enough for this purpose. So,
I thought we did a certificate of appointment and a oath, but I'll verify that.
okay. So is there going to be a certificate of appointment that we can make a motion to approve?
Approve it.
When it's prepared?
Yeah.
Or when we have it? Okay. So I need a motion to approve Steve Becker to serve as an alternate member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for 4 years, starting January 1, 2025, and to approve our signing of the appointment certificate when it is prepared.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, Mr. Dwinger, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye as well. Motion carries 3-0. All right, next up, and this may need to go to Ron, but you'll recall that Klein Peter Consulting Group is providing the grant administration for the $1 million Okra grant that is part of the HELP program. It is split between the town of Cambridge City and the town of Dublin. We are paying that out of the ARPA funds, the $100,000. They are simply changing exactly what they're doing for that $100,000. We have discussed this in the past. This agreement from December will make it so the original agreement amount is $96,000. We had some changes that would allow them to do an income survey for Dublin that is $4,000, and then an extra $1,000 because they had to rebid both of those projects, so they had to go through that process twice. So it's a change in the delineation of how the $100,000 is being spent, and this is for the president's signature. Again, we've already approved this contract, and so do we need to approve the change to the contract, or I think we may have already done that, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, he doesn't really.
Do you recall?
I don't recall.
It's just a change to how the $100,000 is allocated. It was always a contract for $100,000. It's just more clearly spelling out which parts of it cost what amount. The total is still $100,000.
Correct, it's just a reallocation, looks like.
So can I get a motion to approve, or are there questions?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Dwinger?
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye, motion carries, and this is for my signature, so I'll take care of that. We did receive invoices. You'll remember that in December, we agreed to give Oak Park Church $5,000 from the unrestricted opioid funds to help with warming shelter operations for the year, and $2,000 for hotel rooms for people who need some warming, but who are ineligible for one reason or another to participate at the warming station. And so, Brad, you believe made that motion at our last meeting. These are simply the invoices to go along with that. If you guys are okay with it, I'll give these to Bobby to actually fill out the claims and get those processed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep, that's
Okay,
great.
we will do that. We have a phone tree. It has been updated. We may still want to make some modifications to it, but because there's a possibility of some inclement weather in the near future, I think I want to distribute these to all of us. So Aaron's got a list of calls to make, as does Brad and myself, and then Matthew Kane will make some of the calls, and so will Steve Higginbotham, Beth Fields, Matthew will contact WCTV and the radio stations if we have announcements to make. So I will go ahead and approve these and get them sent out to everybody on here who has calls to make under this phone tree for emergency closures. Any questions on that?
No, I'm looking at it now. The only thing, Bobby, you sent this to my business email for some reason.
Yeah. That way you can take a look at it before we spoke about it today.
Oh, okay.
All right, so you good with your list, Brad?
Yep.
Okay. And Aaron?
Yes, sir.
Seen it? Okay. All right, well, we'll move forward with this, and over the course of the next week or two, we'll make any adjustments that we might need to make. Thanks for getting that put together, Bobby. Bobby, anything else that you have?
No.
Steve?
No, sir.
Ron?
No.
Debbie? Anything from the auditor's office? This is your last day in the auditor's office, so thank you for your service, and good luck in future endeavors. Anything?
I have minutes and claims to approve, sir.
Right, we'll get to that. Anything else?
No, sir.
Brad, anything else on your end?
Nope, wish that Debbie the best and congratulations on retirement.
Thank you.
So let's move to claims and minutes.
I have minutes for Wayne County Board of Commissioners dated December 18th, 2024 to be approved, and also the executive session on Monday, December 23rd, 2024 to be approved.
Do we have a motion to approve? So moved.
Sure, for approval.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Dwinger?
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye. Motion carries for both sets of minutes. And you have some
Then I have
claims.
claims to approve. The first set is dated 12/30/2024. Next is dated for December 27th, 2024 for quarterly.
Usually says at the top.
Quarterly for Is it on the other page prior to?
It's, okay, so quarterly claims, does that one have a?
This one
at the top?
it's standard claims for, multiple claims for insurance, payments,
Okay, it's the regular claims.
regular claims.
Okay.
Move for approval.
And do we have?
I have
think
more.
We have a few more.
I have a few
right?
more here. Water bill claim dated 12/23/24. I have transfer from ARPA to County General dated 12/19/24. I have Garment and Dunflex.
Garnishment and the Dunn
Okay, there you go.
Flex account, okay.
Dated December 27, 2024. Thank you. I have payroll dated November 1st, 2024.
November 1st?
That's what it says.
Okay. Must have missed that one at some point.
I have retirement and federal taxes dated December 27, 2024. I have state and local payroll withholdings dated December 27, 2024. And last, I have Boston Mutual Monthly dated December 27, 2024.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the aforementioned claims. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Dwinger?
Aye.
Mr. Roberts?
Aye.
Mr. Plaster votes aye. Motion carries. So I would be remiss if we didn't say something about Aaron Roberts, who is the newly elected county commissioner for District 2. Welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you on board. And
Yes, welcome.
look forward to working with you for the next 4 years.
Thank you.
Anything else? Going once, going twice, going 3 times? We're adjourned.